Okay, we're on the part 2 discussion, and we are still talking about the difference between physical and chemical changes. Remember, physical changes were things where there was a change of state. Maybe a solid was converted to a liquid, to a gas. Also, dissolving salt in water or sugar in water would be examples of physical changes. We're actually not making anything new. When you dissolve a salt in water, yes, it's going to dissociate into the ions that are present, but you're not creating something new. The ions are just now freely moving around in the water. When you dissolve sugar in water, the sugar molecules are just freely moving around in the water. It does not dissociate into ions because molecular compounds, which sugar is, do not have freely moving ions. Also, when we're talking about your chemical changes, remember that chemical changes, you're going to have certain observations. You're going to see a gas produced. It's going to bubble. Sometimes they'll say it effervesces. You're going to have an unexpected color change. A precipitate forms. A precipitate is an insoluble product. A lot of the times it's going to look cloudy. And if you let it sit for a little bit, that precipitate will probably settle at the bottom. Or heat is produced. It might also feel cold. Maybe it absorbs heat. So those are some examples of chemical changes. And if you take a look at number 1, it wants you to select one of the part 2 changes you observed that your group thought was physical in nature. So you're going to choose which one, and you're going to represent that on a particle diagram. And then you're going to describe the physical change using words or chemical symbols. Then in number 2, you're going to observe you're going to decide which one was a chemical change. You're going to write that down, represent it with a particle diagram, before and after, and describe the chemical change using words or symbols. Then if you turn to the next page and you look at number 3 is giving you a table. And in that table, you're going to be filling out for test number 1, where you combined sodium chloride and water. Was that a physical or chemical change? And then a particle level explanation or justification for either one. So when you have sodium chloride, which is a salt dissolving in water, remember the ions are simply dissociating. You're not creating something new. The ions are now freely moving, and so that would be a physical change. In terms of your explanation, you didn't create something new. You didn't observe any chemical change happening. There was no gas produced. There was no unexpected color change. There wasn't a precipitate formed. Okay. And then for number 2, when you've got the wax and the water, remember the wax was just floating on top of the water. You didn't create anything new. That's a physical change. Provide an explanation as to why there was no rearrangement of particles, so to speak, or atoms within wax with water to create a new product. So there couldn't have been any sort of a chemical change. So you'll go through that entire list and identify all of the tests as being physical or chemical, and then provide a particle level explanation or justification. Then you'll provide a definition in your own words for a physical change and a chemical change in number 4 on the next page. And then you will do the post-lab homework, numbers 1, 2, and 3.